Hello all, Todd here with a new video going over my October update. You see, I, w- I wanted to make a newsletter called Ear Crack Ear Candy. Now, the original idea was Ear Crack would have been more adult stories, lots of gore, terror, psychological stuff, nothing too crazy, pretty benign if you ask me, nothing too invasive if you get my meaning. And it was meant to showcase my writings in science fiction, horror, maybe romance, we'll see. And the main idea was that I would write the story, edit it a little bit myself, record it, and then edit that. I'm gonna do that same function but for YouTube as a preview of each one, where I'm going to record it with a blackout screen. I can do that, and where you can only hear my voice in my booth, my Tesseract of Tales, which I think I'm going to turn it into Tesseract Tales for a short story collection. It just sounds better in my opinion. The other one was Ear Candy, which involves more kids, more fantasy, magical, what have you kind of elements. Very mid-tween to teen-like, I think. Kind of like old Disney, without a lot of the new Disney stuff, you get my meaning. Which I have nothing against that, just I don't think it's appropriate for children. I hope we can all understand that. I have nothing against that, but yeah. I will focus on more of telling good stories without pushing any politics, religion, or any too adult themes into my children's stories. They're going to be very old-fashioned, old Disney-like stories, okay? You can show your kids them if you want to, or young cousins or anything. I'd much appreciate the exposure, if you would, if you like them. Again, all criticism, all advice, any tips, I'd love to hear them. Anything. It'd be very good for my growth, and I welcome it all constructive criticism. And those stories, I'll now divide them into two parts. The first one is a prescription for pestilence. It is a horror story that I will dive into later on another video before I release it, talking about the dangers of trusting too much and not taking care of one's own health and what needs to be done. The second one is The Devil in the Distractions, which is a very rough copy. I will not lie to you. It's my first foray into multi-viewpoint storytelling. And again, it's a little raw. I'd like any type of advice, criticism, anything to make it better. I think it's okay, and what it is, it's a rough draft. The first one's much more done. And I have two other ones for the other part of the year. You see, on the ear candy side, I wrote a story series called Rupert and Donovan. It's an anthology series for children about a guardian and his young ward, how they progress through life. And the first one was Can You Befriend a Beast? About him and his young ward, Rupert and Donovan, learning about the world a little deeper. Donovan being the child, Rupert being the adult, and him showing him what things are and different ways of thinking, changing mindsets, opening new avenues of, understanding and learning, communicating. And then the second one is called What is Sacred, involving AI and the scariness of replacing something you didn't think could be replaced, which I think with AI is something we all have to understand is possible now more than ever. The next one is called Hoedown Hot Pot, or Hot Pot with a Side of Hope, which I made for a friend who recently had a child, and it kind of glorified children, companionship, love, all that. Just something for him and his wife to enjoy. I'll not give his name out, but there you go. And the other part is elitism with side eugenics. It's more of my horror story. It's going to be more of a Black Mirror thing with the next two. The first two are more clear cut. The second ones are more Black Mirror, where I just flip the perspective from good and wholesome to horrifying and nightmarish with little simple tweaks. That will deal with the topic of eugenics today, which I'm seeing a lot of, which I I feel several kinds of way about. I don't like it, and I'd like to give my 2 cents on. So thank you. Get ready for that. Thank you. Have a nice day. Like, share, and subscribe.